All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99 back with another WMMA chat. All right, y'all, just want to talk about a few matchups here, some cancellations, and, discuss a couple of fight matchups that are on the horizon here for the new year. Happy New Year, everybody. So far it's a good new year, but it's starting to look shaky for the bantamweight division already. And of all divisions, man, we got a division that's already facing two cancellations, man. We're supposed to be kicking this first card off January 13th with some fights because bantamweight, they need a spark, man. I mean, at least they have a championship fight coming up this month between Mayra Bueno Silva and Rocky Pennington, right? At least we got that fight going on, but we got two other fights in the division that already canceled on the same card. Same card, man. Like, man, it's crazy. But yeah, just so y'all know, I mean, most of y'all already know, I just want to talk about the possibility of matching these two up. Y'all know Macy Chiasson, her opponent, Ketlin Berry, had to pull out due to an injury. And Norma Dumont's opponent, Yana Santos, also had to pull out due to an undisclosed injury. I mean, I don't know what the injuries are. I looked it up. They said undisclosed for Yana Santos. If y'all know what it is, let me know. But it's an injury. The fights are canceled. That's all we need to know, right? So, yeah, with Macy Chiasson and Norma Dumont out, that leaves them, without fights to, kick off the new year and continue their move up the ladder. But to me, this really affects Macy Chiasson in a bad way because, she hasn't fought since she's fought Norma Dumont in a close fight that she won at featherweight, like back in May of 2022, right? So she's going on almost 2 years without any activity, So for her, this is kind of bad. She's had another cancellation, the Yana Santos fight. I can't remember who canceled in that one, but I believe Macy Chiasson maybe had like an injury or two going on in between that time. But, with these cancellations, it's just bad. It's not bad on her, but, it's just bad in general as far as being able to develop and continue to evolve as a fighter, and to see where she's at, So with her cancellation and with Norma Dumont, who's on a nice little win streak, after losing to Macy Chiasson, she's racked up 3 wins, over the past year. So she's beat Danielle Wolf, Carol Rosa, and Chelsea Chandler, So somebody like her wants to get a better opponent. They want to step their game up. But since she can't get her hands on Yana Santos and Macy can't get her hands on Ketlin Berry, I say they let these two run it back. I mean, shout out to Tay Brown. She mentioned this. She did a video on this on her channel as well. And, she mentioned this in a live, I was on. She said that maybe they should just let these two fight again at 145, which I'm cool with, because, you'll see their full potential, right? They won't kill themselves to make weight. It'll be a good fight like the first time they fought. We'll see if Macy can keep the gas tank this time. She did get a little shaky and almost got rocked in that third round of their first fight. But I think that either way, to me, 135, 145. But again, with Macy Chiasson having to make 135, she has to run like almost 30 miles a week, which to me affects her performances, which she said herself. But I already knew that. I was like, girl, this big doesn't need to be cutting that much weight. Almost, 30 pounds or something she's cutting. She's spending more time running than she's actually getting a chance to work on her craft. But in the meantime, if they can't get their opponents and, try to get down to 135, I think they should just let these two run it back at this point because they probably won't mind. We've seen worse rematches in the past. And this ain't a bad rematch, It's just something that has to happen since their opponents pull out. PFL, they be running fighters back when they be 0-4, So that's the crazy part. But this was their first fight was a close fight. So I think you could put this on the January 13th card. Hopefully, if they can't find any matchups for them in the next couple of weeks, they just let these two fight. So at least we can have one bantamweight fight on the card, right? So yeah, let me know what y'all think about that. But we also got a nice little strawweight fight coming up February 24th. Yeah, February 24th between Yasmin Jauregui and Sam Hughes. Shout out to my girl Yasmin, man. I mean, it was a rough year last year. Rough summer. She's been out now. By the time she comes back, let me see, her last fight was the knockout loss in July. So that'll be about 7 months off, since that devastating knockout loss for Yasmin Jauregui against Denise Gomes. Man, that was vicious, man. But yeah, you got to get back in there. She's got to get back in there, build that confidence and get sharp. But with her taking on Sam Hughes, this is a tough one, man. It's a tough one for her because, Sam, this girl's on the rise too. You know, she's a raw talent. I think that, you know, has been getting better along the way. Has more than enough UFC experience at this point. You know, Sam Hughes has, like, I believe, like, since 2022, you know, she's racked up quite a number of fights, you know, some close too. Like, that's the thing about Sam Hughes. Like, some of her fights that she's lost, they're very close. They're kind of controversial, like Luana Pinheiro, the Loma Labugni fight. The Loma Labugni fight, I think, with Sam Hughes, like, she just got a late start in, but that was like a fight where, you know, you could have seen her kind of come back and win had she started a little bit early. Same with the Pierre Rodriguez fight. The one convincing loss that she has on her resume is just that Tisha Torres fight, really, because, yeah, that was a tough experience fight for her, you know, to come right into the UFC. So I think, you know, Sam Hughes, yeah, she's going to be an eye opener for Yasmin Jauregui. But let me see, Sam Hughes has what, 3 wins and 4 losses in the UFC. Like I said, a lot of them are arguable. That just shows you how tough and durable she is. And her thing is just to get more of a earlier start in her fights, you know, fighting off of that jab, letting her hands go, and just building up that wrestling, which she's been doing, you know. So when you look at it, this could be a tough fight for Yasmin Jauregui. Now, I'm not counting Yasmin out. You know, Yasmin, she's athletic. She has the speed. I think she just makes some poor choices, you know, as far as, getting into her rhythm in a fight. You know, she makes poor choices as far as, you know, trying to get a victory and dominate fighters. Like, you can't dominate everybody with speed and power, like, just by jumping into, like, a firefight. And that's another thing. Pleasing the crowd, you know, is not what it's all about when it comes to, you know, getting to the top. You know, I think with Yasmin Jauregui, you know, she needs to slow the pace down, fight more off of a jab, throw combinations, but stay on the outside. You know, use her physical strength to kind of dominate in these clinches and get off in these clinches and control fights. But in this fight, we're going to have to see how good her takedown defense is, because I think, you know, Sam Hughes should be able to make that adjustment in this type of fight. If she feels like she's getting out speed, you know, quicken, you know, outstruck, she's going to try to get the fight to the ground. You know, she's going to try to get the fight to the ground. So, you know, that's something that Yasmin Jauregui's got to be careful about in this fight. But I think it should be an interesting one. But early on, I do kind of lean towards Sam because of her experience and, you know, the more tools that she's shown. You know, she's shown a lot more tools so far. But Yasmin, I think if she slows the pace down and, you know, fights more off of a jab and doesn't run in head first and develops some defense, you know, develop some defense, man. That's what I'm saying about all these fighters in WMA. Developing defense is something they need to do. And, like, you know, she has that ability to do that with speed and a long jab. You know, just use her stand-up to her advantage, be a rangier fighter instead of trying to be this, you know, barn burner type of fighter. You know, you're going to take years off of your career. But I think it's possible with her. I think she just got a little excited. You know, she still, like I said, has a lot going for her as a fighter. It's just about building up that IQ and, you know, putting out these poor choices. But, yeah, man, that's all I got on this one. Yeah, a few cancellations and, you know, this fight coming up at Strawweight. You know, I find this one to be kind of interesting. Also, we can go through the rankings here, you know, Strawweight a little bit just to kind of see where we stand at Strawweight. Because, you know, Strawweight to me right now, it's not a bad division and it's not on the same drought that Bantamweight is, of course, but it's kind of showing signs of, you know, it's in need of a revamping a little bit, some retooling there, because we got a lot of fights that are going to be reruns here. And not saying that some of these fights will be bad, but, you know, every now and then, you know, we might want to see a rematch here and there, but we want to see new fights too, you know, because when you see what the flyweight division is, you know, acquired as far as, you know, all the talent, we look at it and say, man, like, there's not a bad matchup there. But when we look at Strawweight, you know, even the unranked fighters, you know, a lot of those fighters still have to develop. Like, some of these fighters here that are getting signed are like, oh, I'm not sure about this person. I'm not sure. But when you look at the top 15 right now, okay, let's see, you got from the bottom up, you got Michelle Waterson. You know, she's already faced everybody in the division, and, you know, she's kind of on her way out. You got Karolina Kowalkiewicz, who's kind of resurrecting her career, right? We still don't know. Like, I would say she's one of the fighters to kind of look out for again, you know, to see where she stands and see if she can climb her way back up. But we'll see. Angela Hill, you know, she always gives a good fight, but she's kind of like that dream crusher though, man. Like, she's kind of like that one fighter that stops any of your prospects that you got your eye on, from making it up the ladder, but you need that type of fighter. If you can get past that fighter, then hey, that says something about you. So, those two type of fighters like Karolina Kowalkiewicz and Angela Hill, I think, they still hold down the division. Tabitha Ricci, I think she got ranked a little premature. I couldn't pick her in that Loopy fight, for good reason. She showed some heart in that fight, but I still need to see a little bit more for Tabitha Ricci. I think she kind of got pushed into the UFC a little premature, but maybe she'll show us something. But, she's just got that, height disadvantage against some fighters, and I'm not sure if she has that real power yet to hurt these fighters and that physical strength, but we'll see, man. Number 11, you got Lupi Godinez. To me, she's probably the most promising. She's very active, but I hope that activity doesn't. I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't count against her at some point. Where like she starts facing injuries or she starts getting a lot of wear and tear. But you got to get them in now. I believe she has 9 fights in like 2 years or 3 years in the UFC already. So we'll see with her, man. I mean, the more and more she makes the right choices, I think with her speed, power, and her fundamentals, she can make it up to the top 5 pretty soon. Once some of these other fighters retire. And you got Luana Pinheiro, just coming off the Ebas loss. Man, the Ebas, we'll see what happens with her. She's got a lot of rematches too, whether it be Verna or Marina McKenzie. So what's going to happen there? Then you got Mackenzie Dern, who just got knocked out by Andrade. Marina Rodriguez, who, again, she's fought everybody in the division. So it's always going to be a rematch for her at this point, right? Then you got Verna Jandiroba, who's taking on Lupi, who's going to give Lupi that test. Jessica Andrade, who's fought everybody, that doesn't know where she's going to go at this point, right? Doesn't know if it's 125 or 115. Lemos, who's fighting Suarez. Then you got Suarez at number 3. Yan Xiaonan, who's waiting on her title shot. Carla Esparza still holding on to the number 1 spot, so I'm not sure what's going to happen with her. Is she coming back after, she's spent some time with the baby and it got to a point where, the baby can be looked after. What's she going to do? And then you got Zhang Wei Li, who is calling out Alexa Grasso. So with Alexa Grasso on her mind, it almost makes you think like Zhang Wei Li feels like her division isn't offering enough for her, right? Which there is fights for her, but it almost feels like she's not getting the test there. Maybe she just wants to cap off, like I said, a champ point in her career. But with her kind of calling out Alexa Grasso, kind of makes you feel like, okay, she's not really turned on by her division anymore. Which is why I started off by saying, yeah, this division kind of needs to retool it a little bit because there's a lot that's already happened, but it seems like the champ's not even interested. But there's still some good fighters here. There's still some good fights that can happen. I think we just need to go ahead and see Zhang Wei Li and Yan Xiaonan throw down and, see where this Suarez Lemos fight goes, at this point. But I'm definitely not going to say this is a bantamweight situation yet, But every division has its downfall. They just got to keep rotating in the talent. But that's all I got on this one, guys. I just wanted to do this real quick recorded stream here. And, let me know what y'all think of these fights that are coming up and these cancellations. Combo Breaker 99, I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.